And we're good. Okay. So welcome to our December team call. And we have an amazing guest speaker, Kelly Schakel out of Puyallup, Washington. I'm going to go and let her take over here in a minute. I just want to show a couple things really quickly, and then I'm going to hand it off to her. Make sure that I always this is my thing, you guys. I like making sure that we, hold on, present. I started doing Canva instead of Google Forms, or not, what is it? Okay, so just a couple of quick announcements. I'm a visual person, that's why I write it out. But as you guys know, 9-Week Control Freak is available now for coaches and signing up people as a coach. So you can either be a coach currently or you sign them up as a coach. And then the customer VIP launch is in 1 week, next Monday. And my recommendation is to, hopefully you ordered it and you can unveil it and show people when it comes, everything that they're going to get, and even do a couple sample moves or maybe a few workouts. That's what I'm going to do, even though I'm not going to start until January 4th, but I want to give people an idea of some of the workouts. And if you haven't sold one challenge pack of 9-Week Control Freak, don't fret about it. This is the beginning of a launch. And this is when you got to start planting seeds using all the tools that we have in our Google Drive, Diesel Nation's, launch plan, and using those before and after photos, using the videos that are available to you and all that, and putting that in your stories and doing those call to actions. Do you want to try a free workout sample? Now that they can try, anyone that has BOD can try the free workout sample, or anyone that doesn't have BOD can also do the Vimeo one. And then we have our Sip and Learn on Wednesday at 5 p.m. So just make sure that you are reaching out to all of your challengers, anyone that's a discount coach too, who you think might consider actively coaching and want to learn more. So that's this Wednesday. And then of course, always look at our cover photo in our team page. I want to shout out just kind of where we stand right now, and we are mid-month, and you guys, this last few months have been really hard. Like, let's admit it. It's just been, I feel like I'm like pulling teeth for getting people. So if you feel like it's slow, don't think that it's just you. All right. It's a lot of us. And the biggest thing that I can say is how we are hitting Success Club, the ones that you see on here, is just because we have been planting seeds for a long time. So we have been coaching a lot of us that are on the board for 3, 4, 5 years now. And so just don't get discouraged when you're like, well, I'm not even hit one Success Club point yet. Don't worry about that. We have so far to go in the rest of the month. And just know the biggest thing that I can say is, if you look here on the left, are just connect with your current followers, your new prospects, show up daily, show that you can be consistent in this crazy time. Share your journey. Make sure that you are not being a silent coach. Make sure that you are talking to the camera, that you are sharing your workouts, how you're getting it done, even in the craziness of mom life or, anything. Make sure you guys are muted too. It's supposed to mute everyone when they come in. And then progress photos. I always say, make sure that you're taking people along your journey and sharing those progress pics. And then of course, how you're overcoming obstacles, lack of motivation, any struggles, what's helping you right now. Be honest, write it down, figure it out, and make sure that you're sprinkling that in your stories too, how you're showing up right now and how you can get results. So on December 28th, when people are like, I need a plan for the new year, they know that they're going to come to you. So I'm going to stop my screen. And of course, shout out to all these ladies, especially Nicole. She's already at 24, leading the pack per usual. And Kim at 14, and Kayla, who had amazing results from 9-Week Control Freak. She was in the test group. So she shared her before and after on our team page. Make sure that you take a peek at that, and you can obviously use those, any of the ones that you see. All right, so, oh no, wait. I'm not done, because we have Kelly, our guest speaker, of course. But you guys, Kelly is amazing. She is rocking this business, has rocked this business for 4.5 years. She's a 5-star diamond coach, Success Club 10 all-star legend, 64 months in Success Club, a success starter, a 2017 Premier Coach, and out of the Premier Coaches, she was #1, which is incredible. And she has 4 kids. I can't believe how old your kids are now. That's insane. But yeah, so that's a little bit about Kel. She is a teacher. I didn't put that in there. She teaches part-time, and I wanted Kelly to speak to us because she's busy and she has a lot on her plate. And if she can have success doing this business and she could show growth over the last 4.5, 5 years that she's been coaching and continue to have that success, you guys, anyone can. And especially since she is a teacher, and has homeschooling 4 kids right now virtually. So Kel, I'm going to let you take it away.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. You guys have an amazing leader too. I just adore Kelly. So she asked me to talk about time management. I feel like this is kind of my forte because I have a lot. I mean, I know we all have a lot, and I don't ever want it to sound like, well, I have more than you. And I try to tell my team that too. Like, I might have people on my team that don't have kids, but are still busy. So just because I have 4 kids doesn't make me busier. It just means that I have a lot to manage. And so I will be honest that when I started this business 5 years ago, I was not good about managing my time. I worked and hustled really hard my entire first year, which is why I finished really high. I experienced burnout. I started to resent Beachbody. My kids started to say things to me like, Mommy, why do you always have a phone in your hand? I felt like I couldn't do anything without capturing it. And this was before Instagram stories, you guys. I used every single spare minute of my time building my business. And I felt like I was working 18-hour days with Beachbody. I felt like I was sitting, in the bathroom while my kids were taking a bath, and I'm on my phone responding to people. And the moment I would see a message come in that somebody was interested, I felt like I just needed to get on my phone and respond because they weren't going to want to work with me if I wasn't really quick to get back to them. And after I hit that premier rank, I fell apart emotionally. I thought, like, I can't continue to work at this level and at this pace. I signed up to be a coach because for a lot of reasons. But one of the reasons is I wanted more time. And what I found was I actually was taking away all this time. And those of you who have kids know, especially small kids, that time goes really fast with them. Like when I started this business, my youngest was 2. She had just turned 2. And here she is 7 years old. She's in 1st grade. And I think it went like that. And then I think I've been a Beachbody coach since she was 2 years old. I don't want my kids to remember Mommy as somebody who only takes pictures and is working in her office the whole time. And so I had to completely revamp everything that I did to be smarter with my time. And probably the person in this company that I look up to with time management, and actually I think it was at the New Leader Conference where Melanie Mitro spoke to us. And actually, Kelly, you might not have been there that day because it was that last day, but she talked about either you manage time or time will manage you. And so I kind of put some perspective into place and said, here are some things that I'm going to do every day. And, maybe you want to write these bullet points down. But one is a consistent morning routine. And I think that we preach this a lot in our business, but a consistent morning routine kind of sets the tone for the day. Now, right now, I am teaching from home with my husband, who's also a teacher, and my 4 kids who are virtually learning. So our routines have kind of lost a little bit of, energy the last couple months. It started great, and now I think we're all just kind of running on fumes. But let's pretend pre-COVID what my life looked like. So I teach only in the mornings. 9 to noon is my teaching job. So I would get up at 5 every day, work out. I would do, all my power hour. In fact, I'll talk about that in a minute, but I turn on at 6 a.m. every morning. There's an open Zoom for anyone that wants to kind of work together. And then I would, shower and get myself ready for the day and feel like I was going to school having accomplished the majority of the kind of not fun things in the business, right? Those things on the business activity tracker, the non-glamorous parts of Beachbody, which are the invites and the follow-ups and those things that you don't love doing. I believe that if you get those done first thing in the morning, you're more likely to, have a successful day, rather than saying like, I'm going to do this later when my kids are napping, because we all know that when, you get your kids down for a nap, then there's laundry that needs to be changed over or something else happens. So those non-negotiables in the morning, and a lot of my coaches are teachers. I would say probably at least 75% of my team. And a lot of them are working full time and making this work. And it's because they have a consistent morning routine that they're able to do that. Now you might be saying to me, well, I have to go to work at 6 a.m. I tell everyone, like, I don't care what time you have to go to work in the morning, you can still have a morning routine. And it might not be that you get the full 2 hours like I do to work out and work my business, but you can get up early. I mean, I have a coach that gets up at 3:30 in the morning to do her stuff. Yeah, you go to bed a little bit earlier, but it's just that idea of getting it done first thing rather than trying to wait until the evening to take care of the essentials of our business. The other thing that really changed for me, and I know Kelly and I actually talked a little bit about this a while ago. So I was inspired to find a planner that not only, this is a planner that doesn't keep track of like, my daily appointments, but it's the Rachel Hollis, it's the priority planner. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it. It's at Target. But what I love about it, this is what it looks like on the inside, but you plan out your entire day every morning. So every morning I sit down and I write in the 3 priorities that I have for the day, and then exactly what I'm doing all day. Because here's the thing, you guys, we could work our business 12 hours a day. You know that. Like, it is easy to just start in and just get lost in it. But I have found that when I actually schedule in, like, I'm going to work my business from 6 to 7 a.m., I'm going to work my business from 1 to 3 p.m., and then I'm going to do like an 8 to 8:30 check-in. And I write that into my schedule. I have found that I am so much more productive than when I was just kind of like working all day, if that makes sense. Like, when I didn't schedule time, I would kind of get distracted and start something and then, pick up here and there. But when my kids know that I am working these hours, and I'm lucky they're a little bit older, and that doesn't always work if you have, small ones that can't understand that. But they know that those are my kind of non-negotiable times to work. And so when I sit down to work my business, yes, when I sit down and work my business, I work off of sheets. I love sheets that tell me what to do. So I use the business activity tracker, and I think that is really important. But there is an app I'm going to tell you about that changed everything for me. So I'm not sure if it's on Android because I don't have one, but I'm assuming it is. But it's on iPhone for sure, and it's called the Routine Task Timer. And I was going to open it so you can just see what it looks like. I don't know if you can bring light. It's this one right here. Okay. So it's the Routine Task Timer. And what I do is I have it, it's a little timer that I basically race against the clock to get my daily activities in. So I basically took the business activity tracker and loaded the different tasks into here. And so when I'm ready, I have 2 different kind of hours that I work each day. One I call my power hour, and one I call networking 101. So when I open my power hour, I have a list of all of these tasks. Don't mind that my daughter dropped my phone and it just cracked. So I have a list of all the tasks that I do. I can read some of them off to you if you want, but I set it for, it's set for 60 minutes total. So I know that's my 6 to 7 a.m., right? And it specifically tells me, like, add followers, 7 minutes. Respond to all likes, comments, and follows, 13 minutes. Invite 20 people to an upcoming challenge group, 15 minutes. Follow up with people I've invited, 10 minutes. Check in with challengers, 5 minutes. Recognize achievement, 5 minutes. And respond to questions from challengers and coaches, 5 minutes. So what happens is When I press go on this, it starts a little timer. And I'm racing against the clock to get that task done. And when my timer goes off, wherever I am, I move on to the next task. And it keeps me super focused. I get squirrel syndrome so bad. Like I'll open a message from somebody and then it has me doing something else and I find myself all over the place. And that's again where you feel a sense of exhaustion because you're like, I have been working so hard and I feel like I've gotten nothing done. But when you have, I don't know, it's just that idea of like, I'm working against the clock. I'm super focused and dialed in on what I'm doing. So that's my morning power hour. And then networking 101, I actually got from, I want to say it was one of our mastermind calls, or I can't take credit for it. I actually like copied exactly what she told me to do. But this one I do in 30 minutes and I do it usually in the afternoon. And it is all about just growing your Instagram. And so for 5 minutes, I create an engaging Instagram post. And if you, just a tip is you can save these in your drafts. So you don't have to post one every single day, but it's nice to have a few. And actually, Kim, I remember talking to you about this. Like Kim is like so good at this. I think she was explaining it to me on the cruise or something, but she like has all these pictures saved and all these posts saved so she can, yeah, you do. You all, you have great content. But anyway, so you're going to create your engaging Instagram post. Then at least you need to create some sort of an Instagram story with a poll in it or some sort of interactive tool. Remember, Instagram really likes us using their features. This one was really weird for me and I was like, what? I use 3 minutes and I unfollow 100 people. Now you might be like, why am I unfollowing people? Because you want to constantly be moving around your Instagram. So this person that I watched said it's really important and you shouldn't overthink it. Just randomly go through and quickly unfollow 100 people. If you accidentally unfollow somebody that you normally follow, later you can, yeah, it is manual, Kim, and it does, but it doesn't really take all that long. The only thing that's annoying is if people have a private account, when you go to unfollow, it's going to pop up with a message that says, if you unfollow, you're going to have to request to follow again or something. So that's like a little bit of an extra step. I don't click to see if they're following me or not. I literally just go through unfollow, unfollow, unfollow. Then I follow 100 people. So for this, and I'm not here to do big strategy on Instagram, but I find like a, you know, an influencer and I go through their list if we have something in common and I just quickly go through and follow 100. Then I'm going to compliment 10 followers. I'm going to like 25 posts. I'm going to bookmark a couple posts and I'm going to tag people. So I love doing the tag people. Like, you know, maybe you have a couple newer people that you've connected with on Instagram and there's an inspirational quote that maybe you have in common. I like to follow a lot of teachers. And so sometimes I'll just tag a few of them and say, hey, you know, hope this helps you today or something. And yes, I will screenshot the tasks and share them with you. So basically, the reason I share that is it keeps me really, really focused. When you don't have a lot of time to work this business, you have to be really smart with your time. Okay, so don't feel like, this is one of the things that, man, and Kelly asked me to share about this and I was already planning to. So Instagram stories, those really like started to take over my life. It was kind of the same idea where I felt like I needed to be in the moment of everything and let the world know about everything that was happening in my life. And it really, again, started to make me feel overwhelmed. Like my kids were commenting on it. They felt like they couldn't even enjoy a family activity because I had to document the whole dang thing. And it just felt like a lot. And so I remember, I think it again was Melanie Mitro, said like, why do you have to show what you're doing in the moment that you're doing it? Nobody knows when you're doing it, right? They don't know that maybe you did it 3 hours ago. They don't care. Sometimes I'm able to stop and actually post what I'm doing in the moment. And in those times, that's great. But there are plenty of times where I can snap a quick picture or take a quick video, but I don't want to have to go through the whole process of editing and adding cool fonts or doing whatever. And so it'll just sit on my phone. And then when I get a break, whether I'm sitting in the car at one of my kids' sports practices or, whatever. I mean, we're always running all over the place. You guys know how it is. Then I can take a few minutes and actually upload all of that stuff to my stories. There's the ability to put a timestamp on your picture. And I use that feature so when people see kind of a bunch of stuff coming up, they know like, oh, she did this video at 12:57 p.m. That happened to me today. I got on Instagram stories for the first time at like 2 something. But I had pictures saved, so I was able to kind of share my videos quickly and go through stuff. So that's just a tip for managing your stories where you don't feel like you have to post in the moment. I know that they do get better traction when you kind of spread your posts throughout the day, but it doesn't need to be, every hour you need to have something going into your stories. If it makes you feel like a better human being, if you could be a better mom, wife, sister, friend, whatever, because you are managing that time a little bit better, even if it's not ideal, do it. All of those things kind of made me feel like I could take like a little breath and be a little bit of a better mom. I think for me, finding balance in this business was super important. There was a national wake-up call maybe a month and a half ago, and I felt like she was speaking directly to me. And she said that thing about, I don't know if you guys remember, it was something, I can't even remember who it was that spoke, but she said something about like, I believed that I had to be working, 24/7 and want these big dreams to be a superstar diamond. And if I wasn't doing that, I was letting someone down. And she said, I realized that we all have our own pace and we all have our own goals and we're all in different places in our lives. And right now, I'm exactly where I need to be in the kind of crazy situation that we're in. And I don't have an inch more of me to give to be any more successful than I am in this moment right now. And so I thought that was, I felt like, oh my gosh, she's so right. Like, if you have goals and dreams to be a superstar diamond, I love that for you and you should totally go for it. But also I want you to give yourself a little bit of grace if the time and the situation that your life is in right now doesn't allow you to put 12-hour days in. I was watching something from Angie Belmar the other day. I've never really followed her on social media, and I ran across like a reel of hers or something, which took me down a rabbit hole. And she does not have kids, and her husband work this business full time, and her videos are absolutely unbelievable, like unreal. They're so beautifully edited, and I could let myself feel so intimidated by that. I could feel like, oh my gosh, somebody look at my stuff compared to Angie Belmar. But I have to realize that I'm in a different place in my life than Angie Belmar. And maybe someday, when our kids are out of the house and who knows, I'll be able to devote that kind of time. But right now, I'm where I need to be as a mom, as a teacher, as a Beachbody coach. And so I think, the theme with time management is to put in the amount of time that's going to be healthy for you. And in that time that you put in, make sure that you're super duper focused when you're working and you don't get that squirrel syndrome, and you should be able to sit down at the end of the day and say to yourself, like, I feel good about what I just did today. I don't feel like Beachbody and the business just like, overtook me, because for my first probably 18 months, I was like, literally laying in bed thinking about challenge packs and sales and ranks and all of this, and it just started to feel like so much. But when I organized my life and my time, I felt like I could breathe and I could find myself a little bit again, and reprioritize what was important to me. And then another good thing that someone shared with me one time was that remember that what you're doing is attracting or detracting specific people. So if you are showing every single last detail of your life, and I mean like, 80 stories a day or whatever, and and somebody's watching you thinking about being a coach and thinking, oh my gosh, I could never do that. Like, that is so much. Does she ever do anything besides post on her stories or whatever? Like, there needs to be a healthy balance that you're sharing, because most people are not going to want to be putting in, I mean, maybe you're going to find someone, I don't know, but most people are looking for this business as a way to find balance in their life, right? And if you're not showing that balance, then it's hard for them to relate to you. I mean, you definitely want to have enough. I'm not saying, post one story a day, because that's relatable. But I would say make sure that there are some pieces that people could look at and say, yeah, I could do what she's doing. Like, I could definitely see myself doing that. But if it's over the top, or if it feels like you're working your business 16 hours a day, and that's what it appears to the people that are watching your story, they might be like, I don't think I could do what she does. So anyway, all of those things have really, really helped me to find better balance and manage my time better. So I saw a bunch of chats, but I wasn't really reading. Were there questions in here that I missed? Oh, Shannon, you're so sweet. Yeah, and definitely goals, action steps. I feel like, it is so easy in this business to be a collector of information. We listen to all these things, and you get caught up and you like write a million notes. And my husband was just cleaning out our office the other day and was like, Kelly, you have like 90 journals. Like, what do you even do with all these journals? And I was laughing. I mean, like, literally, I have just like journals. But I always say, like, after you listen to something, even this call or any National Wake Up Call, I tell myself, like, I have to do one thing. I have to take one action from that. Like, you have to put your thoughts into action. You can't always just be taking it in. But, what's one thing that you could do tomorrow that you learned today that is going to move your business forward? And also realize that, like, what works for me might not work for you. And that's okay. Like, just because you hear it doesn't mean you have to do it. And we kind of have to get good at sifting through things and realizing, like, yeah, I relate to that. And I think that's why, Kelly and I really connected. Well, at the time she didn't have 4 kids, but now especially just, that you got to find people that are kind of in that same space that you're in, and then work with them. Because, if you don't have kids, or maybe you're working Beachbody full time and don't have another job, you might want to connect with somebody that's in that same space so that you guys can kind of work together in it. But don't let yourself be intimidated by where other people are, because, like I said, they're in a different place, either in their life and their goals. And we don't all have to be the same in that at all. Okay. Do you have questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So something that I often, or that recently I've been hearing more from my team, is that they feel like intimidated to grow a team because they don't feel like they have enough time to lead them or manage them, or whatever their view of leadership is. So what advice do you have on that?
Yeah, I hear that sometimes too. Like, coaches will hit diamond and then they'll be like, do I have to start a team page? Is that something I have to do? And I think it is so dependent on people's personality and goals. I have like 3 diamond coaches right now who have never started a page and don't need team calls and really just want to be a part of the community with their people. And I am fine with that. I think for a while I really let it bother me. And then one of my upline leaders said to me that, like, people are in this business for all different reasons. And sometimes people don't want to grow these giant businesses, and we can't force them away from us, because sometimes they feel like they lose that sense of community, that like cocoon that feels safe and healthy. We have really good systems in place for training and like new coach training and all of that. And other than that, I don't force coaches out unless they really want to be. I don't know if that helps, but that's just kind of what I've found. I mean, I don't have a huge team. I have 7 diamonds and, but I think, it's just dependent on their personality. 2 of mine are like completely well in the nest and they're doing their own thing and they're running these awesome businesses, and my other ones are all kind of like still under my wings, and that's where they feel comfortable.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you, Kel.
Yeah.
Hi. Sorry, it was like dinner time craziness, but I can finally be on like fully here. I'm curious. I know you're so busy and you're very organized. How do you recruit? And when you recruit, how do you get those people to, hit some success, whether it's challenge packs or Emerald? What do you have a system, or do you just kind of fill them out?
Yeah, so I would say that 95% of my coaches come from my challenge groups. They tend to be my most successful coaches. I have recruited out of just thin air, but I find it harder for those coaches because they don't have that belief yet. So they think they want to love everything, but they've never really like seen it in action. So I really focus on my challenge groups being awesome and strong. I mean, I've got 260 ladies in there right now, and it is rocking. It is
Amazing.
So much fun. And so then they are in that and they feel that sense of community. I mean, a bunch of my girls like got matching tank tops for Christmas and like did this big Zoom workout. I didn't even organize any of it. They did it all themselves. Wow. And so I really believe that that's the heart of this business is our challenge groups. And so I find my people from that. They don't want to lose that sense of community, and they see the coaches in there that are running it having fun. So that's mostly what I do for recruiting. And then every Wednesday at 5, we have a coach sneak peek. So I can put them into that. And that's with like my greater upline too. So I'm not running that on my own every week. And then as far as getting started right, on Mondays, we have a new coach call every single Monday. And it's the same call over and over. And it's just a great place to plug people who are new in. And then after they go through that call, which really goes over the basics, it's 1 hour, then I get them on a getting started right away. I would say within 3 to 4 days, I like to get them in a getting started right. And then we just set goals, but the number one goal that I work with is like, your goal in the next like 2 to 3 days is I want you to find 2 people to do exactly what you're doing, and we're going to get you to Emerald. I was doing this so well and so consistently in August and September. I think I had 10 new coaches hit Emerald, like that signed up and within a week hit Emerald. And I was like super, super on it. And this was kind of a new system we had just rolled out. So it was working really well for me. And then, virtual life happened and I really kind of slowed down that. But I know that it works when you do it. So it's just that momentum. I would, they would see like, because I have a new coach pod on Facebook Messenger, and I would just start shouting them out like, hey, Michelle just went Emerald, and then it's going to Emerald, and then I moved them to the Emerald pod, and I'd be like, hey, everyone say bye to Michelle, she's leaving and heading over to the Emerald pod, and I feel like that momentum that they would have. And then when they sign those 2 people up, that's your 4 Success Club points right there. Then they only need 1 more person. So, I mean, I think you're definitely not going to have everyone doing that, but you can kind of get a feel for who those runners are a little bit. But I just really like to work with the momentum and the energy that a new coach brings and try to get that goal hit right away before they kind of become stagnant. And then the longer they become stagnant, I feel like the harder it is for them to kind of pick up and get started again.
Yeah. I don't know if this is Nicole's question. Just I want to jump on that one thing. Challenge groups. I find mine are getting really stagnant. I know it's a time of year. Are you doing anything? Do you use the mompreneur guides? Do you create it all yourself? Like, I'm curious because I don't know why mine are so like down right now.
I do use mompreneur. I love her. I have a lot of coaches. There's like 8 of us that are running it together, and that has helped tremendously. For a while, we had tried to break apart. And first of all, our challengers were sad because they had connected with each other and then they felt like we were like causing a breakup. So we brought them back together. So we do a Zoom workout together every morning at 5 a.m. There's a link open and it stays open for a couple hours, but the same people kind of get on at the same different times. That helps a lot. And then I mean, I go live in there all the time. I just actually right before this call went in live there to talk to them about the 3-day refresh. I think I don't know. I don't know what makes it good. I think it's helpful to have coaches because the coaches are always going to be posting and interacting. And so that really helps like the energy, and I think it makes people feel safe when they see other people posting. I don't know if it's that I have a bunch of teachers and they're used to, sharing or teaching. I don't know. I really don't know what the magic is, but it is going really well. I will say, and I know this is different for everyone, but I run my main group on Facebook. I know I'd kind of gone back and forth. BOD was a disaster for me last spring, and I lost customers due to all of the glitches and everything. When I moved back to Facebook, I then polled them if they wanted to go back to BOD once it got fixed, and like almost nobody said they wanted to go back to BOD. I am running Control Freak on BOD January 4th, and I'm going to test it out again because I know that that's what the company is really hoping to do, and we'll see, how that goes. But Facebook has been really good for my groups. And when I feel like when I moved to BOD, it was a little bit slower. But I don't love the Facebook algorithms either. They kind of make me mad, actually.
I know. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah. Is there one more I missed? Let me see. Oh, okay. Yeah, I answered that. Yeah, if your accountability groups feel slow, you can also reach out to your customers and ask them if they want to post too. Somebody said that to me one time, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. You just kind of give them a little bit of leadership and, like, hey, would you mind? And you could even give them the script and the picture and say, would you mind posting this for me tomorrow or something? And just, the more people you can feel or like feel comfortable or that feel comfortable posting, the more that momentum shift is going to be. When it's dead, it's hard to get people to post. But I feel like Mompreneur has done a really good job for those of you that use the scripts. Like there was that alphabet one the other day. That one blew up really quick where we were using different letters of the alphabet to rate things that we were thankful for or any sort of an interactive post. And then, yeah, Nicole, the Zoom workouts are so nice. And sometimes I'll just go through and tag people who have been really quiet in the group and say, hey, I'd love to see you tomorrow on Zoom. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mompreneur is great. And then, then you kind of get those people that were a little bit nervous about being in the group, and now they're going to show up and do a Zoom workout, and all of a sudden they get that confidence and they're like, oh yeah, now I know people and I've seen them and now I feel comfortable posting. And you create that community. And I really think that's what the challenge groups are about, is community. Zoom. Yeah. So you just keep the link open. We use the exact same link every single day. And we use it on Saturdays, but we don't open it until like 8 a.m. on Saturdays. And it just stays open. And almost always there's at least one person on the Zoom workout. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, those Saturday ones are really fun. And it's funny, it's like they call it like the Zoom crew or whatever, and it's like the 5 a.m. crew, the 6 a.m. crew, the 7 a.m. crew, and people text each other if they're not on there, and they normally are, or someone will post in the group like, hey guys, don't be scared, I'm sleeping in tomorrow, and so the accountability is really fun. And like I said, like a lot of times there's not even a coach in the Zoom room, and the customers are all in there, and they are just like sending friend requests to each other on Facebook, and it's just so fun to see that kind of community happening, which makes it feel all worth it, Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'll wait on mine. Was there someone that want? Okay, I'll ask. So I get a lot of, and I know this is something that you do well at, maybe whether you think you do or not, but you stay consistent with posting and with content creation. Do you, because I think a lot of coaches are like, I just don't know what to post about, how often I should post. How do you kind of look at it every week? Do you shoot for a goal of how many you want to post, like a minimum, or do you also have a day where you're doing like content?
I feel like nothing that I've done in the last 4 months is a good indicator of my business. Like, I feel like nobody should, like, honestly, I was really good about content, and I would try to post at least one Instagram every day, maybe missing a day or two a week. Now I was just looking at my Instagram and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't posted in like 4 days or something. So when I feel like I'm getting stuck on what to post, number one, I always tell myself, okay, it's coming. You need to get it from personal development. When I'm in my personal development and reading, I'm always so much more inspired. So that's important. But just going down to like, what are the things that I like about when I follow other people? I love tips. Like, I love helpful things that would help me as a mom. I love seeing recipes that are healthy and easy. I love being inspired. And it doesn't have to be just inspired in the business, but what you don't want to be doing is posting just to post. And that's what I had to stop posting sometimes, because I felt like I was getting in a rut of, I'm only posting because I feel like I should post right now, not because I'm feeling inspired. And so I seriously, when Kim and I had this conversation on the cruise ship, I was really inspired to do what she does, and I don't do it, but I need to do it. And that is to actually create content that can be in your drafts. And I think that's so important, because I really do believe that sometimes we are feeling inspired, and you could probably knock out a few posts all at one time and just save some of them, because there's plenty of days where you wake up and you're uninspired. And the funny thing about working from home and virtually teaching, like, we go days at a time now without ever leaving our house. Like my Suburban, well, my 15-year-old has his permit now, so sometimes I'll take him on a drive. But like, nothing's open, and school's not open, like nothing is open. So I know this sounds silly, but like, there's days where I'm like, I don't even really want to put on makeup today. Like, I don't even really want to get dressed in real people clothes. And so then I'm like, well, shoot, I can't be posting like a nasty and sweaty selfie of myself. But you could, on the days, I did do my hair for you guys today. And my daughter actually was so funny. She goes, Mom, where are you going? Just because they've gotten so used to seeing us not, get ready for the day. But, don't be afraid to change outfits, get your hair and makeup done one day, do a little photo shoot. And Kim, I know you told me that too. Like, I was so inspired by that. Find different places around your home. Like, it's challenging right now. I'm feeling uninspired in the world in general because I can't go anywhere. And a lot of my pictures I like to do are when we're on vacation and traveling and doing all this cool stuff. And right now, every single day I'm sitting at home. I'm like, that is so not cool. Like, it is so boring. So you have to be a little bit creative. And I think people want to see a little bit of normalcy too. So that's okay. But yeah, I'm not the best at it. And I really, probably that's an area I can definitely improve. Maybe that'll be my New Year's resolution.
I feel like you're really consistent. I mean, I don't always see your stuff, but when I always like go to check out Kel, I'm like, oh, what's Kel up to? And I'll go over there and see what she's up to and watch her stories, because I love seeing just someone who does it differently and who's also managing it with having a really packed schedule. Because I know there was a point when I had Viv, where I felt like this juggling act of, how much do I share? When do I want to have my phone on me? When do I not want to have my phone on me? And that's when I've just come to the realization, like, I'm going to upload when I have the time, and I'm going to take photos or a video here and there, but it doesn't not every little thing needs to be documented. I just feel like I want to share a little bit of family life or my kids, and also working this business and my workouts, like some of that stuff where I'm like, all right, that doesn't take me that long. Mm-hmm. And you do a good job of always showing, your workout or that you did it. Energize. I always say that you share about Energize. But yeah, I think if you have any tips for, I don't know, someone who is in a rut potentially, like right now, kind of like, all right, this is a tough time. maybe they haven't hit Success Club as high as they'd like over the last few months, because we know it's been harder. How, like, what are you telling your team and or even yourself right now to kind of get you through?
That's where I'm at right now, you guys. It is really hard. Like, I hit 5-star in August, September. I can't remember when I hit it. And for anyone that's held a rank that you have to hold for 6 weeks, it is like a really emotional time. And I felt like after I hit it, I just wanted to like take a nap on my couch for 2 weeks. And I felt a little bit uninspired to like work for something. And it's sort of that same idea when people don't feel like working out. I tell my challengers, like, if you don't feel like working out, I don't really care. You are going to put 2 feet on the ground. You are going to stand yourself out of bed. You are going to put your workout clothes on. You're going to drink your Energize. You're going to walk to your workout space, and you're going to take action. And we know that action breeds motivation, right? It's not that I wake up every morning and I'm like, yay, I get to work my Beachbody business. I do love it, but I don't always want to do it, but I just do it anyway. And then there's, again, that word momentum, right? We have some small wins, but I think the key for me not experiencing burnout or feeling uninspired is stepping away a little bit. I feel like the times in my life in this business when I started to feel uninspired the most is when I wasn't finding balance, when I felt like all I was doing was working the business. I follow an influencer. I don't know if any of you guys do. Her name's Cotton Stem. She's awesome. And she has like 600,000 followers, and she's just a mom of 4. I love it because every Friday she says, and now I'm walking away from Instagram for the weekend, and I will see you guys on Monday. Peace out. She is super duper successful, and I've always loved that about her because she doesn't feel like she needs to be on every single second. I appreciate that she's spending the weekend with her family, and then Monday morning I know that she's coming back, and I look forward to her first post on Monday morning. Now, I don't take weekends off. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I post over the weekend. But I think what I'm saying by that is I think it helps her to feel refreshed and energized to be able to start all over again on Monday. So if you are experiencing burnout, maybe you just need to maybe take a step back, or if you weren't really working hard to begin with and it's not burnout, maybe you just need to do it anyway. Maybe you just need to go through your business activity tracker. Maybe you need the timer to kind of motivate you to work your business and, you know, like stay on track the whole time. Because I completely understand and empathize if you feel like you're drowning, like if you feel like you are, every breath you take is this business. Like that is not a healthy place to be. And I was there for a long time, and I feel so much better now that I've been able to kind of create the life that I wanted, right? I created the pockets of time that allow me to do that, but also to be a mom. And that was really, really important to me when I started. And it took me a long time to figure out too. I saw something else. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure, Kelly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Like sometimes too, you can compare yourself, like what you were saying, like you're comparing yourself to some other coaches and you're like, well, whoa, they're like in a totally different stage of life than me. I can't compare myself to that, right? So I had to figure out too, like, Kelly, don't search those coaches. Like, it's nice to be inspired by some of those coaches, right? And to see what they're doing. But at the same time, like, you got to stay in your own lane. And when I hear people say, like, I haven't had the time, or I feel burnt out, or I'm not getting anyone right now, and I just, you take your foot off the gas and you completely stop, then it takes you that much longer, though, to, like, get that momentum going. So if you see someone on our team or someone outside of our team doing something that's not like something that you can do, be like, that's okay. I'm just going to do it my own way and my own style. And that's what drew me to Kelly actually too, was because I felt like my first year and a half of coaching, I felt like I was watching people who were like always posting, always like sharing every little detail. And I was like, wow, I don't know how I'm going to keep up with this. And then I met Kel and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so refreshing to see your posts and to see how you manage social media and how you're having success. And I was like, this is who I want to like lock arms with. And Kel and I we did a lot of trainings together. We did a lot, because I was like, this is, this is how I can relate to her, not necessarily always Christina, who's posting like 3 or 4 times a day, or Monica, who's making her stories look really fancy with all these apps, and which I appreciate, like, wow, good for you. That's awesome. It's not like I want to say that's not good. It's just, I know, like, if I can't see myself doing that. And so my point of saying that is just kind of take what Kelly said too. Like, just don't give up. Don't be like, oh, I can't do it that way. I can't do it enough. Figure out what works for you and your style. And that's what I love, Kelly, is you never let that comparison eat away at you. You looked internal, and you always dig into PD.
Totally. Yeah. That is like the number one thing. Like, if you're feeling uninspired, you probably just need a new PD. You really do. And, you're not married to it either. So if you're reading it and it's not inspiring you, you don't have to finish it. You can pick up something else. And sometimes, having been in the business so long now, I've reread plenty of books. In fact, I just reread The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. So, oh gosh, favorite PD. I have so many. I love The Energy Bust. It's a super quick read. You could probably read it in like 2 days, but that'll help you feel inspired. The 10 Times Rule, The 12-Week Year, The Growth Mindset Coach, The Laws of Leadership. And then most of my really good ones are on my phone, because I do a lot of Audible, and that's a really good busy mom hack, or just busy person hack, is Audible. In this pandemic that we're in, I have taken more walks than I've probably ever taken in my entire life. I call it my recess, like my mom recess, just to get out of my house a little bit. And I listen every single day. That's how I do my PD right now. It's 2.79 miles to do a loop around my neighborhood and back. And so it takes me about 45 minutes, and it's amazing. It's peaceful. And that's how I get my books in. And I come home and I'm like, okay, I can do this now.
I love that. I do a lot more Audible too.
Yeah. Yeah. So convenient.
I was just going to say a quick note about just partially, like, when you first start, like, a lot of stuff, it seems like it takes you a long time. And like, I remember when I started, and I remember like I knew Kelly was Kelly's success partner. And I saw Shannon and Danielle McKean posting in the team page. I'm like, how do they even have time to do this? How do they even know about these announcements? Like, I was so blown away, and like, I could never imagine myself being that leader. But it's like, because I was just figuring out how to start a challenge group, right? So just know that, like, with time, like, you get better and more efficient at all those little things that maybe in the beginning are just so hard for you, right? You get better at them, and then you can add on a new skill, and then you add on a new skill, and you get better and better. And that's the beauty of this business. You're always learning and you're always growing. And a lot of these top coaches, and myself included, and Kelly and Shannon, like, a lot of us we do have an assistant that helps us with certain things. And that's something that, like, as you grow, you can budget in, or like some of our assistants is $5 an hour. So something to consider even now, if you're really busy and you do have big dreams for the business, like, what can you get off your plate? And I know it's taken, for me, with these product launches, having my assistant has helped me so much. So I just want you guys to know that I do have someone helping me too, because I can't do it all. I have 3 kids, 5 and under. So.
Yeah. That's such a good point, especially even in the time management. Like, if you can get help with things, like, especially things that you're not necessarily needed for. And I'm talking like a house cleaner, right? Get your car, somebody else to clean your car. Like, there are things in life that are more, I always say, like, is it more valuable for me to clean my house and spend, like, the weekend cleaning? And we have a very large house, and, a lot of kids that are very messy. Or is my time better spent hanging out with my family and having somebody else do the cleaning for me? So it took me a while to get to that point, because I felt like, well, I can clean my house. I know how to clean, but my time was more valuable. And exactly what Nicole said, like, at some point in your business, you're going to realize that the smaller tasks, the things that aren't important for you to have contact with, you can, have somebody else do that step so that you can do the things that are going to make a difference for you and your people. Delegating. Delegating is my favorite word.
I know. Nick thinks I'm, taking advantage of that right now. He's like, "Oh my God, when's the last time you did laundry?" I'm like, "Hey, I got stuff to do."
Yeah.
But
yeah, for years I had someone do my laundry. I mean, it was the best money I ever spent. And we moved into this house and they don't do it anymore. But now my kids are old enough they can fold their own.
yeah, and I it's true. Like everyone is in a different stage in their business, and I always think like, don't look at what I'm doing or Kelly's doing or myself, Nicole, where you're like, how did they do all that? How? And it's like, you guys, I schedule, if I know we have a team call, I schedule a post ahead of time. So I'm not like 5 p.m. with my kids and I'm on my phone. I schedule stuff like that too. And we have an assistant that helps us as a team. So Shannon and I split the cost of her, and she'll do our visual. She'll schedule all of our events, just little things like that, that I hope like, that's not us all the time. Like definitely not the visuals. I have someone help me with that. But that is something like, just, I felt overwhelmed as a new coach too, when I saw our uplines doing all this stuff, thinking, how in the world are you creating content, taking pictures, posting, and then you have a team to manage? Like, holy cow, how will I ever do that? And it comes with time, like Nicole said. And a lot of it too is just, you get better as you go. You realize what you're really good at and what you're not. I know I have my weaknesses, and a lot of times I have Shannon to reel me back in with that administrative stuff, so
yeah, that's awesome that you guys have that.
Is there anything else, you guys? Because I know we're at that hour mark, so I want to respect Kel's time. But if you do have anything else that you have a question on, message me. I will ask Kel anything else. Let's see.
And I will screenshot that stuff for you guys so you can see my 2 routines each day.
Yeah, I would love that, Kel. And I'll share it with our team. I think this is exactly what our team needed, because I think everyone's kind of at that burnout stage too, which is so normal, but also at that, how do we do this if you're working full time and you're a busy mom, and how do you stay on top of the business? So I love all your tips. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.